Good habits are just as addictive as bad habits. That is the secret nobody tells you when they are selling you the discipline conversation. They make it sound like the good life is a constant battle of willpower. White-knuckling your way through every morning, grinding through every workout, forcing down every clean meal with gritted teeth, while the bad version of you screams for what it used to have. That is not what happens. That is not what the man on the other side of the transition experiences at all. What actually happens is this. The body adapts. The identity shifts. The new habits stop being things you do and start being things you are. And somewhere in that shift, something extraordinary occurs. The early morning becomes something you protect. The training session becomes something you miss when it's gone. The clean meal becomes something that tastes like self-respect. And the old habits, the ones that used to feel like relief, start to feel like exactly what they always were. A slow, comfortable, well-disguised destruction. The addiction simply transferred from things that were taking from you to things that were building you. And once that transfer completes, once the good habits have the grip that the bad ones used to have, you are a different person, operating from a completely different foundation. And going back feels not just unappealing, but genuinely impossible. The early morning has a feeling that the late night can never produce. Most people have never experienced it because they have never stayed with it long enough for the body to convert. They try the 5 a.m. for a week, feel terrible, and conclude that it is not for them. What they experienced was withdrawal. The early days of any habit change feel like loss because the nervous system is recalibrating, grieving the old pattern before it accepts the new one. But the man who pushes through that recalibration, who gives it 30 days, 60 days, long enough for the body to genuinely adapt, discovers something on the other side that no alarm clock can adequately describe. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. There is a version of the morning that belongs exclusively to the man who chose it when it was hard. The silence before the city wakes. The clarity that comes from being ahead of the world. The quiet satisfaction of having already done something meaningful before most people have opened their eyes. That feeling, that specific, private, deeply earned feeling, becomes the addiction. And once you have it, the thought of trading it for a late night that leaves you hollow and behind becomes genuinely laughable. The early morning is more enjoyable than the late night. Not immediately, eventually. And eventually becomes every single day once the habit has taken root. The workout produces a high that drinking cannot touch. This is not motivational exaggeration. This is biochemistry. The body was designed to move, to be challenged, to push against resistance and be rewarded for doing so with a cascade of chemistry, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, that no external substance can replicate cleanly or sustainably. The drink produces a version of that feeling for about 2 hours. Then it takes more than it gave. It takes sleep quality, mental clarity, emotional stability, physical recovery, and the morning. It takes the morning completely. It replaces the genuine high of the body working at full capacity with a hollow substitute that requires a larger dose each time to produce a smaller effect. Temperance is a tree which has for a root little contentment and for fruit calm and peace. The man who has been genuinely fit, who has experienced the real, unmedicated, earned high of a hard training session completed, does not miss the drink. Not because he is morally superior, because the real thing is better, substantially, undeniably, permanently better. The craving for the substance is the craving of a body that has not yet experienced what it was actually built to feel. Give it the workout first. Give it 60 days of real training. And watch the craving redirect itself towards something that builds rather than borrows. Clean food tastes like something that processed food can never replicate. It tastes like energy. It tastes like clarity. It tastes like the absence of the fog that follows every meal that was chosen for comfort rather than fuel. And once the body has lived in that state long enough to understand the difference, once the baseline shifts from the sluggish, inflamed, half-functioning state of the poor diet to the clean, energized, sharp state of the nourished body, going back to the junk feels like deliberate self-harm. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. The clean meal is not a sacrifice. It is a choice made by a man who understands that the body is the vessel, and the vessel determines the capacity of everything being carried inside it. The quality of the thinking, the endurance of the training, the sharpness of the decision-making, the depth of the sleep, all of it is downstream of what goes in. Eating healthy is not more difficult than eating poorly. It is more intentional. And the man who has tasted what intentional nutrition does to every area of his performance does not experience it as deprivation. He experiences it as the standard. The addiction simply became the clean version of the fuel. Giving to the poor, to the elderly, to the person who cannot repay you, produces a satisfaction that no pleasure chasing can match. This is the one that surprises people most. The culture says that pleasure is the destination, that the good life is built from the accumulation of experiences and sensations that feel good. And so men chase the next high, the next conquest, the next dopamine hit from pornography or gambling or consumption, and arrive at each one feeling vaguely less satisfied than the last time, because the pleasure model is a diminishing return. The more you chase it, the more it takes to produce the same effect, and the less it lasts when it arrives. But giving operates on a completely different economy. No one has ever become poor by giving. The act of genuine service, of contributing something to someone who cannot give you anything in return, produces a sense of meaning that the pleasure model cannot access. It connects you to something larger than yourself. It reminds you that the life being built is not just about you, and that reminder, paradoxically, makes the life richer, more meaningful, more worth protecting, more worth building. The man who has genuinely served, who has fed someone hungry, sat with someone lonely, given to someone who had nothing, carries a satisfaction from that experience that no amount of pleasure chasing has ever produced for him. And once that satisfaction is known, the empty pleasures feel not just hollow, but wasteful. A squandering of time that could have been spent on something that actually fills you. The habit of reading fills a hunger that scrolling creates, but can never satisfy. The phone produces the sensation of stimulation without the substance of it. Every scroll delivers a microdose of novelty, a new face, a new opinion, a new piece of information. And the brain, mistaking stimulation for nourishment, keeps consuming. Hungry still, more stimulated, less satisfied. The digital equivalent of eating food with no nutritional value, full of input, empty of development. The book is different. The book requires something from you. Attention, patience, the willingness to sit with difficulty and complexity long enough for it to become understanding. And that requirement is the point. The resistance of deep reading is what makes it nourishing. The mind that has worked through a difficult text has grown in ways that passive consumption can never produce. A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The man who never reads lives only one. And once the reading habit is established, Once the mind has tasted what genuine intellectual engagement produces, the clarity of thought, the depth of perspective, the richness of inner life, the scroll becomes not just boring, but actively frustrating. A waste of the one resource that cannot be recovered. Trade the scroll for the page. The addiction will follow. The 5 a.m. is not a burden. It is a privilege. The training is not a chore. It is the best part of the day. The clean meal is not a sacrifice. It is a standard. The giving is not an obligation. It is a joy. The reading is not work. It is the richest form of leisure available. The prayer is not a ritual. It is a relationship. All of it, every good habit fully embraced, becomes an addiction that feeds you rather than drains you, that builds you rather than borrows from you, that compounds into a life that looks, from the outside, like discipline and sacrifice, and feels from the inside like the only way a man of standard would ever want to live. Get addicted to the right things and never look back.